Hi, my name is Zach. I like movies, and I'm here to talk to you and tell you to watch the documentary No Other Land. This is a 2024 documentary by a collaboration of Palestinian activists and filmmakers Basel Aldra and Hamdan Ballal, along with Israeli journalists Yuval Abraham and Rachel Szor. It is a document of the expulsions of a small mountain village in the West Bank called Masafer Yatta, and it chronicles not only the decades of Israeli expulsion as it is being taken over to become a military training ground. It is all told. It is also a document to the humanity and the people of Masafer Yatta and the Palestinians at large, all told through the eyes of the activist and director Basel Aldra. This is an unmistakably courageous film to make, and that would have been the case whether or not the ongoing genocide against the Palestinians by the Israeli government was taking place or not. This is a documentary that has been years in the making. The creation of this was began as early as summer of 2019, as it shows. These are where these expulsions began, and it is not only fascinating that it exists, but also so. This is really as powerful as the word got around. It's difficult to witness, and it's like I'm just fresh off of viewing it, and I really feel shaken by it. I'm frustrated that that atrocities like this not only are still going on, but have happened for so long. And this was such a task to see, but it's a thing that you really can't deny. Especially since so much in the West, so much media in the West, with few exception, there has been so obviously biased against Palestinians, and so obviously against even hearing out their humanity, and the fact that a documentary that says clear and focused and so much of a statement, and so much of we are here, we will, and something that you can't look away from, is vital. I mean, watching this, I kept thinking back to Bisan. She's a Gaza teen. She's a teenager. She was like 19 or some 19 or in her 20s or something like that, and she's been documenting her own atrocities she's bear witness to in Gaza for the past year and a half and some change, and it feels vital that to hear voices from her, from Basal, and even from Yuval, and this is a film that is right from the jump was very controversial, but also had held great praise. It premiered at the Berlin Film Festival, to just as much praise as controversy, and it went on to, I think, to the surprise of many, not only was nominated but won Best Documentary Feature at last year's Academy Awards, and yet, despite all that acclaim, there is still great danger posed to these filmmakers. They are subject to death threats, to slander, and in fact, a few weeks ago, one of the co-directors, Hamdan Ballal, was taken and beaten by Israeli soldiers, but was thankfully freed relatively quickly. And I think the controversy surrounding, again, most anything in favor of Palestinian rights, Palestinian autonomy, or Palestinian humanity, especially in the West, as we've seen, is likely the main reason why this film hasn't had distribution for so long. But fortunately, there was efforts made to sort of give this a tour in select cities, mostly in the Los Angeles area, I think. But now recently they have a stream. They have it streaming for it. It's now on video on demand, and it's really a must watch, and it is a hard movie to watch. It is a documentary that follows repeated cycles of calm daily life in Masafer Yatta, and then the attacks that disrupt that life. Settlers come in and forcefully evict families from their homes. Bulldozers demolish these homes right down to the goat pens, and the schools are torn down, and children have to watch their schools and playgrounds destroyed. Wells are filled with cement. Pipelines are destroyed. Communities are made strangers in their own land, and many families have resorted to taking shelter in nearby caves. And in turn to all of that, the people protest for their homes, for their lives and their human rights. And in response to those demands for livelihood and their land, they are met with hostility. Arrests are made. Protests are met with stun grenades and gunfire and death from soldiers. Week after week, family has to decide whether to endure or leave, but they have no other land to turn to. And Basel is there to witness it all. He documents it, and it shows how long. And he's been in this mess for really his whole life. The movie opens up on home footage of him at 5 years old, and narration talking about the first time his earliest memories of being woken up in the middle of the night and his father was arrested, and his camera refuses to look away from these atrocities, and he captures these at such intimate distance. He's put under threat too, and it's devastating. These images are devastating to see. Even just the one on the poster for this of Basel lying on the grass, just picking at the rubble, as his bulldozers just do their business on the horizon. It's just so bleak. It feels so devastating. But I feel like it feels invigorating to witness these people protest for their lives and just see them celebrate being alive. There's a birthday for a little kid, and it feels like you feel just like some weight lifted off your shoulders. And at the center of this, there is an unlikely friendship that forms between Basel and Yuval Abraham, and Yuval uses his own platform as a journalist, as an Israeli journalist, to speak out against his government's the crimes that his government is taking against it, and it's also fascinating that this movie doesn't shy away from this sort of unspoken yet acknowledged tension between the two. There's some resentment there's resentment, there's guilt, but there is common ground that they find between each other, and the fact that they've been together on this tour and championing this film and championing their cause, especially in the wake of both October 7th and the genocide, the revenge, as Benjamin Netanyahu said, revenge that will be basically magnified and made even worse in its follow. And this is a film that you really it will be difficult to watch, and I'm certainly going into the rest of the day really with a heavier heart, but you cannot turn away. You cannot look away from these crimes. You cannot and must not turn away from their suffering. To hear firsthand their screams of pain and their cries of protest is vital. Witness their struggle. Acknowledge that these are crimes against humanity. Do not deny these people their humanity. And that is the power of not just good documentary, but important documentary. And No Other Land is absolutely one of the most vital movies you could watch right now, one of the most important documentaries of the last few years to come out, and it is absolutely, I cannot recommend nor encourage you to seek it out and watch it as soon as you can and share it. And that will be it. Thank you for watching. A link to the VOD for this amazing documentary will be, as well as a donation link to support Masafer Yatta, will be in the description below. I will also have a video that the directors had with Hassan Piker, which I think is also important to hear. And this will be available to stream this way from April 16th to May 8th. And I, again, cannot strongly encourage or recommend that you do just that. So please, don't look away. And remember, and I believe that one day, however long that will be, Palestine will be free. Free Palestine.